This is a presentation of BSRN, Box Studios Radio Network. The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here is your host of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for September 12th, 2024. This is season 14, episode number 6, and this is episode 445 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everybody. I am Bob Howard. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. I am really excited. We are getting so much closer to the start of the regular season. As we're talking today here on Thursday, there's only 30 days to the home opener, which really means there's only 29 days to the start of the Binghamton Black Bears season as they start up in Watertown against the Watertown Wolves. Another date to note as well, in 18 days, camp starts. So the training camp for the Binghamton Black Bears will be from September 30th to October 7th. Bob Howard here, myself, and I, and the Power Play Post Show will be there. We'll be talking to players and, of course, to head coach Brant Sherwood about everything that he's expecting from his players within camp. There's a whole lot to get to, so let's get right into it. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Power Play Post Show, and please join. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. And on this edition of the Power Play Post Show, really excited to have both of these guys back with us, Andrew Uturo and Brett Wiseman, both from the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Now, of course, Binghamton fans will be very familiar with Andrew as he played here with Binghamton at the end of the championship season. So we'll talk to both of those guys in just a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Okay, so on Monday, the Black Bears re-signed Kyle Stephan. Kyle joined the team on March 1st and played the final 17 games of the regular season after taking time away from hockey after his time at the American International College, NCAA D1 Division I school. Stephan recorded 8 goals and 4 assists. He proved to be a big part of the offense in the final stretch of the regular season, posting 3 multi-point nights. In the postseason, Stephan appeared in all 7 playoff contests, scoring 1 goal against Watertown in the quarterfinals and assists on the first goal of the Commissioner Cup Finals versus Carolina. Now, I know that during the summer here, I have basically said that I'd be surprised if he was back in Binghamton. And why did I say that? He's a Division I hockey player. If he's going to continue his career, I was expecting him to move up and either play in the SPHL or play in the ECHL. And the ECHL is really where I saw him landing. From sources that I've been talking to, looks like Kyle Stephan did not like any of the opportunities that he was going to get in the ECHL. There was also a situation potentially with his work visa because he is Canadian and whether or not he was going to be able to play down here. And a team in the SPHL may have been helping him get that visa taken care of. So, with that being said, I'm surprised that he did sign. Now, I did reach out to Andreas Johansson, and he said that, yes, he's going to be in our camp and our training camp, and will be playing for the Binghamton Black Bears. So, obviously a great cue. Now, his points slotting system number will be 8 points, but I think it's worth it. I think Coach Sherwood sees a lot of an advantage with Kyle Stephan. I see it as well. And even if when you listen to the Andrew Uturo, we talked to Andrew Uturo about Kyle Stephan, and even he said that by the end of those 17 games that he played in the regular season, you could see Kyle Stephan playing like a Division I hockey player. And what does that mean? Well, all these guys can shoot. All these guys can skate. Sometimes they may overskate turns and things of that nature. That's just part of it, especially at this level. But something that Kyle Stephan has a keen eye on is his decision making. And this is something Andrew Uturo talked about, is that his ability to make decisions was something that was really easy for him to do as he got back into the game. So it'll be very interesting to see how Kyle Stephan does. Does he move up and whatnot? We'll definitely see. Okay, so through Wednesday, September 11th, 2024, and I hope everybody took a moment to remember what happened, obviously, 23 years ago on 9/11. It's a very important day that we all just sit back and reflect and remember and not forget. So, but on 9/11, 2024, here was all the players signed to standard players contract. What does that mean? I'll talk about that in just a minute. But I'm going to run this through order. Now, this order is based on the Fed's website, right? So if you go to stats and transactions, on there it tells you the players who've signed, and you can sort by Binghamton Black Bears, and you can see who signed. And I do have to apologize a little bit because I thought Tyson Kirkby was the first guy to sign his player standards contract, but apparently not. But this is in order of the way they are on the website, and it is dated, so you can see that there's dates. Now, this could be just the way they're processing it through the system. It may not mean that one guy signed before another guy or whatever, and it probably doesn't really mean anything anyway. So don't take into this. But this is the order that it's placed on the website. So first we have Connor McAnanima, goaltender, of course. Dan Stone, obviously one of the big cogs in our defensive wheel. Dakota Bond as well, Defenseman of the Year. Blake Tosto, Nolan Egbert. So basically our two goaltenders both have signed their player standards contract. Gavin Yates, Kyle Stephan, Dan Weber, Jesse Anderson, Scott Ramakers, Jamie Bussell, and then Tyson Kirkby. Okay, so Kirkby was the most recent one that happened on Wednesday, September 11th. Now, what does this really mean? Well, it's really just a different classification versus PTO. You sign someone to a PTO during the off season, and realistically, it's just saying, hey, we were protecting the rights of this guy, we own the rights to this guy, or we have the rights to this guy, and that we've now signed him to this professional tryout agreement, which is usually what the PTO means. And now they've actually kind of formalized more information, right? So Connor knows what he's coming into the upcoming season, probably his pay. Maybe he has signed a contract and sent it over. Either way, there's a lot more information that Connor knows now, and so does Coach Sherwood at this point, about their situation with Connor McAnanima or Dan Stone or Dakota Bond. So these are like regular contracts, and these are the guys so far that have signed those. And I expect a lot more to happen over the next couple weeks, and there's probably a couple more signings coming as well. Whether or not these guys that are going to be coming in will have player standard contracts or the regular standard contracts, or whether they'll be PTOs until they get into camp, I'm not sure. A couple of these guys have some experience, and I think you're going to be seeing that eventually coming up soon. So that's really what's going on in the Binghamton world right now. I think last week it was kind of quiet. This week it's going to be a little bit quiet. And again, we only have 18 days until camp. So there are other guys that are probably going to sign their player standards contract or their standard players contract. So that will probably be getting done over the next couple of weeks. We're going to continue to bring you shows on Thursdays. And, of course, our first double week show will be the week of, it'll be the weekend of the 12th, right? So the first game up in Watertown will be the 11th. The second game will be the 12th. That'll be home. That'll be the home opener. That's the one that is 29 days away from, obviously, the September 12th. And what we'll be doing is we'll do our show on the 10th as normal, beforehand previewing us against Watertown, maybe talking a little bit more about the banner raising ceremony. I hope to have Brooks Hill on that week to talk about the plans and everything, so he can let you guys, the fans, know what's going on. Maybe I can get into the office and talk to him again at that point. So Brooks, basically, I'm trying to book you here on the air. So if you're listening to this, be thinking about the 8th and the 9th, so we can figure out a time to do that, to have you on the show. And then we'll have a show on the 13th, which will be Sunday, recapping everything that has happened and how is the Black Bears done in the first two games. And we'll probably take a look at the division as well to see how the division made out, where we are in the standings, just 2 games in compared to everybody else. There's not going to be many games. There are some preseason games that will be happening that weekend as well. So that's kind of how it looks. Otherwise, we should have a show on the 19th, the 26th, and the 3rd. If we do something special before then, that kind of adds a second show. That's great. Otherwise, we'll have single shows for the next 4 weeks. Take a listen to our 6 more questions recap. It's a really great broadcast that gives you all of the players' answers to the 6 more questions. So please check that out. We did post that on the 8th, just a few days ago. So please check that out and everything. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show is our good friend, Andrew Uturo. He's now with the Blue Ridge Bobcats. He has signed a PTO contract. I expect him to go into camp. Now, the one thing I can tell you about Andrew, and so I want you guys to pull for him, he has a invite to the Knoxville camp in the SPHL. So he's going to go up to Knoxville and play in their free agent camp. So wish him good luck. That's going to be happening in a couple weeks and everything. So check that out, and we'll let you know how he does. He's also agreed to come back on during the middle of the season and, give us kind of a rundown how everything is going for him. So with that being said, let's get to him. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show is Andrew Uturo from the Blue Ridge Bobcats, your former Binghamton Black Bear. And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers.
Hi, this is Brandon Buczynski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I am very happy to have this gentleman back. He comes to us. He's right now signed with a PTO with the Blue Ridge Bobcats, and he's a good friend of ours, and he was on the show when he was with the Binghamton Black Bears. He is Andrew Uturo. Andrew, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you on, and I hope you're having a great summer.
Hey, thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. And, I'm having a great summer and just getting ready to get back in the hockey swing of things,
Oh, absolutely. So the Binghamton Black Bears obviously won the Commissioner's Cup. You played in one of the games. You got to, be there with the team and everything for that magical 7-game run. You probably learned a lot in that short period of time that you were with the Black Bears about yourself as a hockey player, but also being a professional as well.
Yeah, it was. It was a great little run we had, and I was very fortunate to be a part of it. So many great teammates, great coaches, all the way up to the equipment staff with John Brown and Dylan Konechny and everyone, Aiden Burchard. It was awesome, and everyone embraced me very, very well. And I didn't get to play in every one of the games, but I learned a lot about myself as like a person, and when you got the right guys out there, not to make that switch, and all I could do is just be the best teammate possible and just bring a positive vibe to the rink every day.
That final game against Carolina, you obviously were watching that game just like the rest of us and everything. How crazy was the feeling of the crowd? I think you could probably take in the crowd energy a little bit more than maybe even some of the guys that were actually on the ice and everything. Were you kind of surprised by the Binghamton crowd, or were you kind of expecting that, knowing the history of Binghamton hockey?
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising because, I mean, obviously it was the most fans we had probably all season up until I was there. And, yeah, it was crazy, but so many people just seeing me in the hallway and just, like, kind of wishing us luck and everything was pretty awesome. So, yeah, it was a great time. And, yeah, I love the fans there. And, you know, when we were all getting dressed to get onto the ice after the win, it was pretty cool. Even though, like, you know, I didn't play and some of us didn't play, we got to still hoist the cup and all that, which was awesome.
Yeah, what feeling was that like? Because it's not the first time that you've won a championship before, and you were heavily a part of that Ottawa Junior Senators team that won the championship. And I know when we talked about the 6 more questions, and I asked you the 6 more questions, your greatest achievement at that point was winning the Ottawa Juniors, or the Ottawa Junior Senators championship that year and everything. I got to imagine this was pretty close, but you got to play in all 17 of those games and everything. Can you compare the 2 runs a little bit, or is it completely different because you really only played 18 games for the Binghamton Black Bears, but you got to be a part of something that was pretty special too?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. Yeah, it was tough. It's tough to like compare those two because obviously, like you said, I played the full 17 games in the juniors and all of that, but with winning in Binghamton, it was so much different because, you know, we would go out and we would go to the golf course or go to the bars and stuff, and everyone knew who we were after we won that, and they would just, you know, they'd say, oh, you know, food's on us, golf's on us. Like, it was like we were really a part of something special, and it was kind of cool to see, like, the whole city embrace us, which I didn't get that same aspect in the junior championship run. So there were definitely moments that you can compare, but there was definitely some differences too.
What were some of the differences between, you know, winning a juniors championship and then being a part of the Binghamton Black Bears for those, you know, 17, 18 games that you did play? Because I got to imagine, you know, the speed of the game is a little bit more, maybe the intensity, the hitting is a little bit more intense playing, you know, professionally versus juniors. I know major junior is very physical, very intense, people fighting and things of that nature. Junior A is a little bit, you know, a step back just a little bit. But can you talk about the differences between like that Junior A championship and that whole year for you versus kind of what, you know, you saw with the Binghamton Black Bears?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in juniors, I mean, you're living with another family, and you're kind of, it's not as much of a, like, you have time and like during the day to do other stuff, and it's more like I wouldn't want to say a hobby, but it's like, it's just a different feel. Like, but when we were here playing, when I was there playing pro, it was like you go to the rink every morning, you do your stuff, you know, work out, you have to eat right, you have to like make your own food when you get back to the apartments. It's a very different vibe. Like, you have to be a pro every single day, or else, like, you're just not going to make it. Like, if you don't want to make food one night, then, you know, you're gonna regret it. Like, if you want to go out to eat or something, like, you're going to regret it. Like, you don't have someone almost not like holding your hand, but like supporting you through that. Like, you're kind of on your own. So I would say those were like the major differences, was just like learning to be a pro and, you know, take every day one step at a time kind of thing.
Let me ask you this question. You've mentioned a little bit online that you weren't happy with last season, not necessarily with the Binghamton Black Bears part of it, but more of your juniors not being picked up and playing. I know you played 27 games with Wilkes-Barre and then 7 games with Utah, but you seem to be unhappy with that portion of juniors. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's hard because like you work all summer and you're getting ready to go and you have people promising you things, which I mean that was kind of my first mistake. I've learned that you can't really trust anyone completely in those kind of situations. But I was expecting to come into a place and be an age out and just have a good season, but I never really got that chance and just kind of got traded away. And you just kind of go down not necessarily a dark path, but like a spot where you're like, all right, am I even good enough to play at this level anymore? Am I like am I doing the right thing? But like, should I just go home kind of thing? And it got to that point almost in Utah, and one of my buddies said, dude, you can't quit now, like just reach out to some FPHL teams. And that's what I did. I reached out to every team that I could, and luckily Coach Sherwood, I've told this the last time I was on, but Coach Sherwood gave me a shot, and I couldn't be more grateful for him and the rest of the organization. And it changed my life. It's been a great opportunity, and that's one of the reasons I'm signed in Blue Ridge now, is because Coach gave me that chance and kind of helped me start somewhere.
You talk a little bit about junior hockey is tough, right? It's not easy to get and stay with a team for a long time. There's a lot of moving parts in junior hockey. Is it almost as cutthroat as pro hockey is?
Yeah, I mean, especially my time at Wilkes-Barre, it was like we would get new guys, 2-3 new guys in each week. Like it was, and these guys that would be there the whole year will just be casted off, so it was definitely different. But yeah, I felt like more of a family atmosphere when we were playing pro, like in Binghamton, just because you spend so much time together with those guys and you live together. And the coach Sherwood was just like such a great, he wasn't even just like a coach; he was a friend to like a lot of us. And if you needed something, like you could call him any time of the day and he would be able to help you out. So it was, and I know he wouldn't screw anyone else like out of a spot on that team if they really deserved it, so I thought it's definitely like there's still parts that are cutthroat, but juniors was definitely way more cutthroat than my pro experience.
Explain to the fans what aging out means in juniors.
Yeah, so aging out is just like, last year I was a 2003 birth year, so all of those kids would have been in their final year of juniors last year, so they can't play anymore. So this year it will be 2004 birthdays.
Sure.
They'll be there last year.
Gotcha. And when you came to Binghamton, what did you know about Binghamton, right? Because obviously you reached out to all the teams. Coach Sherwood spoke to you and everything. You're on your way to Binghamton. What did you know about Binghamton?
I didn't know a whole lot. I obviously did my research on like every team that I was emailing or got their phone number, what have you. But I didn't really know much other than one of my good buddies, Austin Thompson, was already there, and he had told me a lot of good things about it. And he was obviously one of the main guys that I asked for like support on what I should do or like advice on what I should do, and he helped me a lot in that process. But I didn't know a whole lot about Binghamton. I just went online, watched pretty much every one of the games, the highlights that were on there, and just got a little bit more familiar with certain points of it. But a lot of it I had to learn, by being there in person. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. It's a small city, so it's easy to get around and everything. You guys were out living in Whitney Point and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about who were the guys, other than Austin Thompson, that you kind of just – I mean, I think you became good friends with Liam Anderson, L.A., and everything. Talk about some of the guys that you did get close with in that short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like I got close with everyone because, we're always like at the rink and we're so close. Obviously, one of my really good buddies isn't even on the team. It's Dylan Konechny.
Yeah.
Me and him got very close. Best equipment manager in the league and just such a good supporting person to me. So I would say him and, at Whitney Point, I got close with pretty much everyone. Scott Romekers was my roommate, so me and him spent a lot of time together. And like you said, Liam Anderson, Nolan Egbert, Kyle Stephan, me and him were really close. And then that whole room of Josh Fletcher, Connor McNamara, and Dan Weber, we were really close too. I was spending almost every night up in their room just hanging out, watching the games and stuff. So, it was cool to get to know so many different individuals from different places and different ages. So that was pretty cool part of my life.
Yeah, Andrew, you're going to be playing, obviously, going into camp with Blue Ridge in just a few weeks and everything. One of the things I found interesting about the Black Bears, they had a D1 player, Kyle Stephan. You already mentioned his name and everything. A bunch of D3 players, a couple guys who played juniors, Austin Thompson, who you knew, and everything. Pretty much a lot of talent spread across different ways to get to the same point, right? Guys going through junior A, some guys, D1 player, a lot of D3 guys and everything. What's your take on the makeup of that team skill-wise? Because it seemed like they had a little bit of everything when you came into them.
Right. You really had to be there, and I know you were at a lot of the practices, and you could see, it's the skill. You can see glimpses of skill differences, but a lot of the guys, Coach Sherwood kind of he pieced them all together. It was like everyone had a different role, once you could play ACHA or you could play Division I, but it's all about the opportunity you had on how to get there. There's multiple players Austin Thompson, per se, could have played Division I somewhere. He just didn't get that same opportunity. So it's all about how you perform on a certain night. Everyone at this level can shoot the puck. They can, make the passes. You can skate. But it's about the little decisions that you make that really separates those certain types of players. You could see it, especially with Kyle Stephan. He came in late. He hadn't played hockey in 3 years, so he started a little slow. But towards the end, you could see how dominant of a player he was, and he deserved to be on that team. And he, you could see he was a Division I player just based on the little plays he made. I would say the same thing with Tyson Kirksey. He makes those little plays. Him and Gavin Yates, they make those little plays where that's what makes them stand out so much more at certain points,
Yeah, I've always said decision-making is probably one of the hardest things to do when you're playing hockey, when you're on the ice, because a lot of guys, they can do tape-to-tape passes, right? They can take good shots, but it's how you decide when to take the shot versus passing the puck or what position to be in at what particular time on the ice. That's the hardest part, right? The hockey IQ is sometimes the toughest part. And you can sometimes teach hockey IQ to people, which I think Brant Sherwood did a great job teaching and getting people to follow his system, and that's probably why you want a player's coach, a player's type of coach, where he can get the guys to buy into his system no matter what it is. He's good with the X's and O's, breaking down video, things of that nature. But getting people to buy into the system is probably the biggest thing. And did you see that in the short amount of time there, that people were buying into what Coach Sherwood was saying?
Oh, 100%. Like, we would work on certain things, and everyone knew what they were doing just because he instilled it into us. Like, this is what he wanted. We're not going to change up things. Like, this is what works. This is why we've been winning, and everyone bought into it because you respect that type. I mean, you respect him as a coach. You respect him as a person, and you can see, just if you were even on the outside looking in, that those systems have worked all year. Like the forecheck, the power play, the penalty kill, all that stuff. Like, so you just buy in right away, then you're pretty much set at that point.
So after the championship, you were picked up in the expansion draft by the Blue Ridge Bobcats. They are a new team playing in an old rodeo-style kind of barn where they used to bring in cattle and sell them off and do certain rodeo type of things in this barn and everything, and they've kind of built a kind of a rink in there, which has really been fun to watch over the past, I'd say, 24 months, where they've gone through, put in a rink, brand new floor, and now in this off-season summer, they built 3,600 permanent seats in there. It's going to be a U-shape type of thing, kind of like a lot of college barns are, believe it or not. And you must be kind of excited. Listen, you're going to continue your pro career. That's the important thing, number one, and everything. But you must be excited to be able to go down and kind of help build the history of a brand new team.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm really excited that, a team wants me so much. Like, I had I asked at first to, come back to Binghamton, and they weren't able to work anything out.
Sure.
So now I'm really excited. I've had a few talks with the coach there, and it's been a really great situation so far. And I'm looking forward to getting started down there in Virginia. I've never been, so it'll be kind of a cool new experience. And like you said, I'm looking forward to kind of helping piece together this new or second-year hockey team now.
Yeah, and what has your talks been like so far with Coach Zemlick and everything? What kind of things do you think he's looking for in a player?
I think kind of similar to almost what Coach Sherwood brought me in for. I mean, Coach Zemlick, he watched film, and he's seen me play, and he said, we'd love your scrappiness. We love that you hit and can even drop the glove sometimes, but we like that you can make passes and you buy time and space. But they're also looking for someone that can score some goals and be a top six kind of guy, which I know I have the ability to do. I just need to really show it,
And when you get down there into camp, what are the things you're going to concentrate on the most when you get into camp with them?
I think just building relationships with the coach and the coaching staff and everyone on like the whether that be the media side and all that, but also with the players. I think that's what helped me a lot when I first came to Binghamton. Was I built a close relationship with Dylan and Brooks and all those people, but then it kind of formed into me creating connections with everyone. And if I'm comfortable there and I know I'll be able to play my game and my style that I want to play, and it will help the team if I can just be myself out there and play the way that I know how to play.
All right, I'm going to ask you the hardest question that you're ever going to have to answer. Who's the first guy when you play against Binghamton you want to hit first?
Oh, jeez.
No, literally, I want to know the one guy that you're like, I'm going to zero on him, and I'm going to check him into the boards. Who's the first guy in Binghamton you want to check?
I don't know. It's gonna suck so much playing them just because I love everyone on that.
But you're gonna have to hit somebody, right? You're gonna have to hit somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit someone.
Is it going to be one of the guys that you didn't play with, like one of the new guys? You just going to
let's
zero?
Just say it. No,
yeah.
I don't know who I would hit. Honestly,
I want to see you.
I'll hit Austin Thompson.
Oh no! But you're friends with him. I want you to hit like someone like Dan Weber, who's like probably twice the size of you, right?
Yeah, I love Weber though. Me and him, we would go at it in practice, but he was such a good role model for me.
Don't drop the gloves with Weebs. I'm so glad more people didn't, because I was afraid Weebs would kill him, because he went from this. It's kind of funny. You got to look at some of the early pictures that I have of Dan Weber. He's got his hair short, and he's got no facial hair. And then all of a sudden at the end, he looks like he's a guy that could have come out of like Mongolia or something. He's got all this long hair and this beard and everything. And I'm like going, crap, he's a little scary now.
Yeah. No, the one guy I'd want to hit, I'll take a shot and I'll hit Connor McNamara in the head.
No, you can't do that. You know that's against the rules, even.
No, I know. I can't. I won't hit anyone, honestly. Like, I won't blow anyone up. But I'm still gonna play my game and play hard. But it'll definitely be a different style. Like, it'd be a different feeling just because all those guys, and just be kind of weird. But
all right. So I'm going to text Tomer after this, and I'm telling him that you're coming after him.
Good. He's probably. I've been texting him all summer. He'll listen to the podcast when he sees that I'm on it.
Hey, explain again how you know Tomer before Binghamton.
Oh yeah, so I played juniors in his hometown
Of Leamington, right?
Yeah. So I played juniors there, and then he played college in my hometown,
which is crazy.
So I came home, and he was like kind of chirping me about my Leamington stuff because he never made that team.
Yeah,
he had to go play for a different team called Chatham.
Yep,
and he was kind of chirping me. So, that's kind of how our relationship started, and then we just became friends over time. And I couldn't ask for a better, role model and friend to look up to.
No, it's pretty cool. Grand Rapids has the Griffins in the AHL. Did you ever skate in that arena?
Yeah, I've skated in a couple times. It's very hot in there. It's not fun. It's not even fun. It's kind of almost like a punishment to skate there.
Really?
Yeah, it's so brutal in there. Like, you can barely breathe. You're just sweating everywhere. But it's an awesome ice rink.
Now, that's an AHL barn. Binghamton's an AHL barn. You're saying it's easier to breathe and play in Binghamton's barn?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which even there it's hot at Binghamton, but
wow.
Yeah, here in Grand Rapids, I don't know what they do. The airflow in there is terrible, so it's just really warm.
Now, what's funny though, Andrew, is I don't disagree with you. I almost all last year, I took my jacket off in the press box, and I would just wear just kind of like a regular, just a pullover shirt and everything, and I was perfectly warm. I was never cold once. I took off my leather. You saw me with my leather jacket. I have a black leather jacket that I usually wear to the games, and I figured, all right, it looks professional enough. It's leather. I look like a beat writer from the 1970s. It's cool, right? And I never had to wear it actually up in the press box because it was always nice and warm up there. And it's kind of always been that way. I never really thought about it that being warm for the players and everything.
Yeah, it gets really warm down there. So, you sometimes have to adjust to that. But
Gotcha. So what do you know about the Wytheville, Virginia area?
I know absolutely nothing. Probably as much as you know.
I don't know much either. I know that when I go down there in March of next year for the couple games that Binghamton are going to play down there, I know my wife will be looking for a hotel for me, and she'll be booking that, and I'll just use Google Maps to get down there. I know Brett Wiseman, who you've messaged a couple times this summer since you got picked up by them. You've had a couple conversations with him. He's going to be on the show as well this week and everything. really nice guy. How have your conversations with him been as well?
I mean, nothing too extensive. Just kind of like, hey, Andrew, looking forward to meeting you and having you with Blue Ridge, and then he'll send me, new posts that they have on their Instagram.
Cool.
Whether that be their jersey reveals or schedule reveals or all that. So
their stick up for cancer, stick up for cancer or whatever it's called. Jerseys look really nice. I don't know if people have seen them yet. Those ones look really nice.
Yeah, a lot of their specialty jerseys they release look pretty cool. So, look forward to wearing those. But yeah, it's Brett's been we've just chatted a few times, but nothing too extensive.
What's training been like for you this summer? What have you done? How much have you been on ice?
Yeah, so I mean, there's not a ton of ice here in Grand Rapids to where you can get on all the time, and we don't really have like pro or junior skates, so I've kind of had to find my own ice. But I've been getting on the ice about 2 to 3 times a week, and just getting in the weight room and the gym, and running and lifting weights, just keeping my stamina up, but also enjoying my time while being at home too here on this break, and spending time with friends and family that I'm going to leave for 7 months. So it's been a happy medium kind of thing.
What type of things have you gotten to do for fun? I know when I talked to LA, he went out to Calgary, went to a rodeo. I've seen pictures of him in a cowboy getup, which is pretty awesome. LA still has not given me permission to release the picture yet, but there is a picture that Josh Fletcher took, and Josh sent me the picture. So LA, if you're listening, which usually you do listen, I want permission to be able to release that picture because I think it's pretty awesome. What kind of things have you done this summer that has been away from work and kind of away from hockey, but for fun?
I love to golf, so I've been golfing a lot this summer. I play slow pitch softball.
Oh, nice.
With my brother and with my dad, so that was fun. Dylan, connect me if you're listening. I'm way better than you at slow pitch. And then, just going to the beach and going up to my cottage up north area and all that kind of stuff. Just getting out, being outdoors.
What is your goal for this upcoming season? What do you want to see happen?
I just want to go down there and make an impact for my new team and Blue Ridge, and kind of show everyone what I can do, and I deserve to be in this league. And I would love to get maybe a few games in the FPHL too, if possible, if I play well enough. But yeah, that's kind of my goal, is play good and try and get seen by higher end coaches.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know that you brought the energy to Binghamton, not only just on the ice, but off the ice. When you came up and said hello to me on Whalers night, you just had so much energy in you. And I said to LA after you kind of walked away, I was like, is he like this all the time? He goes, yeah, he's high energy and everything, which I think is great for a hockey team. You need I don't want to say happy-go-lucky in a negative sense, but you need happy-go-lucky, high-energy kind of guys. And that seems like what you are. Where did that come from?
Honestly, I'm not like that too much outside of the rink.
So the rink puts you into that high-energy, happy-go-lucky kind of guy? Yeah?
Yeah, I just love being there. I'm such a rink rat. I love just, I think I said it on the last one, just staying out extra later just to hang out in the in the players' lounge, tape my stick. Just love being at the rink. So when I could go there, even if I'm not playing, I can just go watch a hockey game and watch my brothers compete. That's all that matters to me is, I get to say I'm part of this team, and I'm going to try and support them either way, any way that I can. But yeah, I'm not like a too high energy guy, but when I do get to the rink, I like to just, kind of be locked in and just, be the best teammate I can be.
Absolutely. All right. One last question. During the season, will you come back on the show? Will you answer 6 more questions? We're going to have 6 new questions for the 6 more question segments. Will you come back on, tell us all about Blue Ridge and how everything is going there, and do our 6 more questions again? Will you do that?
Yeah, of course, Bob. Anything for you, man. You give me a text, and I'll be right back on the show.
Awesome. He is Andrew Uturo. Andrew, good luck with Blue Ridge. I know from a lot of Binghamton fans who just kind of fell in love with this team, everybody on the team, pretty much. I mean, even some of the guys who didn't stick with the team for, until the end, there was a lot of guys and people still care about them and whatnot. Good luck this upcoming season. I can't wait to talk to you again. And in March, when I'm down there, we'll have to get together and do something, all right?
For sure. Thank you so much, Bob, for having me on here.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
You're listening to the Power Play Post Show. Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I really love the fact that I can call up this guy, have him come on the show. He's a great broadcaster. He is somebody who's versed in NASCAR, which I love because I can actually talk, realistically, have a conversation about NASCAR with this gentleman. But we won't bore the hockey fans today with NASCAR talk. But he's into it as much as I am, which is very cool. He does come to us from the Blue Ridge Bobcats. He is their broadcaster. He is Brett Wiseman. He's been on the show before. Brett, welcome back to the show. It's great to talk to you again.
It is great to be back, Bobby. How are you?
I'm doing well. So let's get the elephant literally out of the room right now. And holy crap, the changes that you guys and the county has made to the Hitachi Energy Arena is just phenomenal. Can you talk about the process? You've been there. You've been able to see all these changes happen. I have to imagine the fans are going to be very happy when they get back in that arena.
Anybody that has not been inside, because you see the pictures and videos that we've put out, they don't do it justice until you see it in person. It looks like a completely different building, and I told this to a few people at our extremely successful, I might add, Pick Your Seat event the other day, last week. I told this to a few people, hey, if you would have walked in here for the first time and seen that this was a rodeo barn 20 months ago, you would have done an outtake and said, no way. There's no way this floor was dirt. There's no way the seating was temporary, so on and so forth. And I said this at the end of Birdie and I were off the air, the last home game of the season last year. Anybody that said it would work, you can't put a hockey team in Southwest Virginia, you can't put a hockey team in a rodeo barn, not a rodeo barn anymore. We have a hockey arena, we have some of the best seating in the league, we have an enclosed press box. That's more than some teams could say, too.
Yep.
That's huge. I like to call it my new house. My second address is 200 Apex Drive, right on top of sections 103 and 104. In case you guys ever want to, swing by and say hey, I'm on the left-hand side of the booth. But to ultimately answer your question, from when I got there last November of 23 to now, it has just been a complete 360-degree flip from where I walked into, a fledgling little expansion team that has now come to the point of, and we'll get into all this as we continue talking, but we want a broadcast product, the product that we put out on social media in terms of our graphic design and our content. We want that as well as the on-ice product to match and the effort and the hard work of so many people over the last 20 months to turn the Apex Center into Hitachi Energy Arena.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't wait for people to hear how loud it is going to be in there.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be great. Just building up the dome of seats, and it's a horseshoe. For the people who haven't seen it, it's going to be a horseshoe style, a lot like a lot of the college barns are out there. You know, the D1 barns even. Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins that play in the Casey Plaza, that is a horseshoe, and so it's going to have that effect where the sound isn't going to just dissipate away. It's going to stay within. It's going to make it louder, which is pretty cool. At least that's the way I'm envisioning it. I can't wait to be down there in March when the Binghamton Black Bears play there, so I can, kind of fill this in. And this is going to be my first road game with an FPHL team. So I'm very excited about that it's going to be down in Blue Ridge. Talk a little bit about the seating. It's 3,600 seats, but you also have a couple other areas as well, which will ramp that up to about 3,800.
Right. We've got on either side of our press box, on the penalty box side of the ice, we have about 100 to 150 suites.
Wow.
And those will be sold to corporate sponsors and partners that want to have a big group night out, or somebody's celebrating a birthday, or they want to have a big group. They'll have a nice spot up there up top. They can see all the action from up there. Then we'll have our VIP tables at ice level in front of our beer garden, which also we will be reshooting that commercial for those that may have made fun of my acting. And that. Yeah, my girlfriend's next to me. She's laughing her rear end off right now because she likes to give me flack for my acting. But anyways.
I'm not much of an actor myself, Brett, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, you wear a lot of hats in this league, apparently.
You do.
To be an actor, so.
You do. You
anyway,
absolutely do.
Yes. To answer your question, yes. We'll have about 100 to 150 in the suites and about 55 at the VIP tables. At ice level, the VIP tables will actually be located adjacent to camera 2 of our 3 cameras on Bobcats TV this season.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I think is a really big upgrade for people who can't make it to the games, or for visiting fans, for fans of the visiting team watching. The upgrade to not just having just one camera and maybe the awkward position that you guys had last year. This is going to really step up the broadcast, the visual that is a potential customer that could be coming to your arena. They're going to be like, wow, look at this. And they've got 3 cameras, and they're adjusting for certain positions video-wise. I think that's a really big thing. It's an important thing that some arenas just can't do in this league, and Blue Ridge is going to be the benefactor of this.
We're going to do it, and we're going to do it well. Believe me, we all caught so much flack for how we had things set up last year, but for nobody that was in the building this year, they didn't see the setup that we had. We did what we could with what we had available to us. And there's a gentleman named Richard who was most vocal to me multiple times about certain things. I can't wait, mostly for him, but for everyone to see what we have planned, because Jimmy Milliken, our GM, and myself have been, Trevor Riggins, who does our IT, and he's our arena operations manager. Mm-hmm. The 3 of us have been just working our tails off all summer on trying to find out how to perfect this broadcast. And Jimmy's standards and my standards are, we don't want an FPHL level broadcast. We don't want an SPHL level broadcast. We want an ECHL or higher level broadcast. And we want to be able to bring that to people for free on YouTube. We want you to be able to see a Flow Hockey product for free. And that's our goal.
Brett,
so we'll have the main camera up top, and then we'll have the stationary camera in the near side corner in position to our booth, next to those VIP tables. The far side corner will have a mobile roaming camera that'll get crowd shots during stoppages, and as our guys come on and off the ice, they'll get that as well. So there's not going to be another broadcast in the league that has the views, the angles, the levels, and the closeness to feel like you're there even if you're not.
I've seen pretty much every broadcast in the league. Of course, we haven't seen Monroe's yet, or the couple other new teams, the Dashers, which I don't expect to be at the level of Binghamton and maybe what Blue Ridge, what you guys are saying, you guys are going to have. But it really does come down to, I think Binghamton and Blue Ridge are going to probably step it up and have the best broadcast in the FPHL. And like you said before we even start talking, Binghamton is the benefactory that it was an AHL team and all the equipment is there from the Senator days, and that transferred over to the Devils and now here, which makes it a little bit easier for Binghamton to have the broadcast that they have. But Watertown's not going to be able to do something like this. Even Danbury, which I would think could, doesn't. And so I think it's just a benefit to the team that the county has invested so much into this arena, and it's allowing the team to then step up all the other aspects. And I'm hoping that also means that the play on the ice also improves as well.
It's going to. And that's been our goal all along. That's been Jimmy and Zemi's goal in building this, I'll say it, this stacked roster that we have right now. Zemi did a great job. I told people this a lot last year. If at the end of the year, the roster we had at the end of the year, if we had that in January, I think we would have jumped Mississippi and Port Huron and snuck into the playoffs. Because, as you know, as an expansion team, in your first year, you don't really know what kind of team you have until after Christmas.
Yeah.
But, we've got that good core group of guys coming back. Of course, we've got the guys that are called up to camps and other places. But, if and when they come back, they have a spot. We have such a talented group of guys. I think Joel Frazie's guy to watch. Hunter Hall's going to be a huge guy to watch. Matt Ernst. We're going to have probably one of the best goalie battles in all of the league. When you look at the four guys that we have coming in, plus Tyson Brower, who's going to be in a camp elsewhere as well. But when you look at just the roster that we have, core guys we have coming back: Frazee, Hall, Ernst, Ivoskin, Bohan, Norwinski, McHugh. You saw all those younger guys take huge steps and huge strides, and you saw Nikita really come into his own the last handful of games. And it was one of those things where just as the team started to come together, the season was over. But now Zemi has that style. All the core guys that came back are bought into that style. They love playing that style. And you look at the guys that he's been able to bring in as a result. Daniel Klinecki is a huge name to watch for us. Of course, he was Defenseman of the Year with the Carolina Thunderbirds back during the COVID season. And he wanted to play in Blue Ridge. He wanted to play for Zemi. They were teammates on the President's Cup team with the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs back in 2022. That was Zemi's season as a player assistant before he officially retired from playing to come coach Blue Ridge. You look at guys like Dima Selyutin and Timur Gavrilovich. big size guys. Teamer was a teammate of Joel's at Buffalo State. You look at a guy like Jonas Leas. You got a lot of Suniac guys that are hungry and rare to go.
No, without a doubt. I know we talked to Andrew Uturo a little bit earlier and everything. He's excited about coming down and kind of proving himself. He got 18 games here in Binghamton, but now ready to come into Blue Ridge. A lot of excitement. You know, he's a kid that can play on that third line and produce, whether it be goals or whether it be the hits and stuff like that. I personally think, you know, if you guys end up with Liam Murray and Owen Liskowitz as your goalie tandem, that could be the best, if not one of the best goalie tandems in all of the FPHL this upcoming season, if that's how it works out with those two.
And it's going to be a great competition with those two and Greener, Connor Green, and Purdy, all four battling it out in camp for essentially two spots. It's going to be really fun to watch from our vantage point. But shout out to Andrew for coming on. We've chatted a few times over Instagram, and I just get the sense that he's incredibly pumped. I can't wait to meet him. You said it though, right there. He's the kind of guy that can play on the third line, and the big thing with building this roster has been finding the perfect mix of speed guys, of skill guys, and guys like Andrew that have that mix. They can put the puck in the back of the net at any given time, but they are not afraid to go into the dirty areas, to go into the greasy areas, to do the not fun things that need to be done to score goals and to win games. And the style that Nemi wants to play is what we really did a good job of last year, and that's why we were finally able to get over the hump after the double-digit number of matchups against Carolina and Columbus. Was Nemi wants this team to be hard to play against. He wants Blue Ridge Bobcats to be a pain in the rear end to play against, whether it's at home or on the road. He wants teams to know that when they come into our barn or when our bus pulls up, they better pack a lunch. Because it's going to be a lunch pail kind of work boots kind of night. And I think kind of sending that message to the rest of the league that, hey, we got finished in last place last year, but we're not here just to be okay.
Yeah.
As a second-year team, we're going for the whole thing.
One of the things that changed this for this upcoming season, they added a few more teams, going from 11 to 14. There's now 7 in each division. The schedule, I think, is a little bit more spread out, which is kind of nice. You're not playing a team. Binghamton played Danbury 18 times, and I got to be honest with you, when we got to the 18th game, I don't know if you guys had an 18th game against anybody last year, but holy cow, I was done writing Danbury's name down, or any of the guys on Danbury, and I guarantee you the people in Danbury were the same way as I was, just like, okay, we're done with it. It feels like this schedule, even though it's not a balanced schedule, at least what I would call a balanced schedule, where you play every single team the same amount of times, whether it's at home or away, not necessarily the same amount of games, but at least you're playing 2 at home, 2 away, 4 at home, 4 away, something like that and everything. Do you feel like this schedule is a little bit better for everybody involved?
I think it's the best possible outcome for everyone involved. And what you said about Danbury is true with us and Carolina too. But by game 13, it was like,
a done.
I got to write all these names. I got to write Gus Ford down again. I got to write Dawson Baker down again.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
all the fans came up for Winston with the 13 of those sweep signs, and it was pretty satisfying to send them home not pleased. But
right.
That is what it is. I think we play them 13 or 14 times again this year. But it's going to be really fun. For me, one of my favorite parts on the road is just the time that I get to spend with these guys, and I really get to know them and grow to love them. And you know, the way that all the guys embraced me last year and treated me like I was part of the team, like I was a human being. You know, it means a lot. And, you know, one of my favorite parts of going on the road, too, is being able to see, you know, new barns, different barns, meet new, different people. I'm really super pumped to go to Monroe and meet Joseph Furtado, who was in Baton Rouge last year. Joseph's a great kid. He comes from the Walter Cronkite School of Broadcasting. From the other ASU, that would be Arizona State.
Yep.
I only say that because they sued Appalachian State over it, and that was a whole big deal, but we won't talk about that. I can't wait to go to Danville and see what the Palmer Arena looks like. I can't wait to have Uncle Clement to drive up here for the exhibition games. I can't wait to see John again. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see Aikens Ford Arena down in Athens, and hopefully I get to take home like a stuffed rock lobster or something. If somebody can make that happen.
That would be pretty cool. Hey, listen, you know, it's a little disappointing you guys aren't coming to Binghamton. You know, it's the only...
And yours is one of my favorite barns that I've ever been to. Of course, I only got to go there once, but I am a little bummed. But also, for you guys to come here, being the defending champions...
Yeah.
That's a weekend that a lot of our fans, whether they have season tickets or not, a lot of our fans have it circled to pack the place out, not only to see us and support us, but they want to come see the defending champs.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I know some of the fans up here in Binghamton are like, well, why aren't we seeing this team, or why aren't we seeing this team? And unfortunately, that's just the way the schedule is. Probably the flaw of the schedule is not being able to see each team you play against and whatnot. I do have a question. This is a random question from a fan. I hope you understand it more than I do. On average, how many cans of Liquid Death do you drink per week?
Oh man, I wonder who asked that question.
Well, I'll let you say it. You know who it's from, right?
Yeah, his name's Rary Ryan. Is that something like that?
Yes, it does come from Gary Ryan. Can you explain to me what Liquid Death is again?
Liquid Death is the world's greatest water, number one. You know, for someone like me who screams for a living into a microphone, it does help. Some may say I am too excitable, but to those people I say, have you ever met Doc Emmerich or Gary Thorne?
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. On average, I drink it a lot more during the season. Per week, probably go through 2 or 3 cases.
Wow.
Like you could back a truck up to our rink. By the way, it's bottled and canned by our friends at Wilderness Water Company in Bland County, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is about 30 minutes away.
All right.
So, you know, you can just back a truck up to the rink and drop the cases off. And I can probably go through a pallet full in a month.
So, okay, so I am very particular about my water. I only drink Poland Spring water, okay? And I can't drink anything else. I'll be honest with you. Will I be able to, when I come down there, try Liquid Death?
You will. I will give you a complimentary case.
It's that good. You're saying it's that good.
I will swear by it. You could give me an IV of it, and I'd be fine.
All right, fair enough. I do want to get your thoughts on Johnny Hockey and his brother Matthew in that situation. I have to say, one of my favorite players of all time is Brian Leetch. He's, to me, one of the greatest American hockey players there ever was that played and everything. And I am a fan of the New York Rangers, have been my whole life. But Johnny Hockey just did things on the ice, and every time I got to see him play, I was just absolutely amazed. How devastating. I mean, I understand the family just, you know, rocked by this. I couldn't even imagine sister getting married the next day. But on a hockey level, this is a big blow to the hockey community and the hockey world, just because his skill at his size was just so amazing.
It defied belief every time he got out there. I mean, he got to BC at 125 pounds, soaking wet.
Crazy.
At 5'7", and the moment that always stuck out to me that I knew, I don't care. Of course, I was a teenager at this point. I told my friends, I was like, I don't care what round he gets picked in. That guy's won the Hart Trophy in like 3 years. Watch. Is that goal that he scored in the national championship game at Gary Thorne and Barry Melrose in the ESPN booth, both their jaws hit the floor.
Yeah.
Where, he picks the puck up at the opposite blue line. He's being defended, sticks about to get lifted by two defenders, squeezes through them both, kicks the puck to his stick, goes forehand, backhand, game winner in the national championship game. That was it. Everybody was sold from there. To be able to do what he did at his size.
Yeah.
And I heard someone tell this story that his dad, and there were people that left Skittles at the memorial sites that were in Calgary and Columbus and at the home rink there in New Jersey. His dad would drop Skittles and have Johnny stick handle around Skittles as he dropped them. His dad would skate backwards and drop Skittles in the most just random odd places on the ice, tightly spaced apart, and Johnny the Skittle, he had to go back to where they started and start it all over again.
Wow.
So he stick handled through an entire bag of Skittles.
Johnny was also the player that was probably more known before he even made it to BC than any American-born player in many years. That's the thing about it, is there was video coming out about him. I think I was still doing my old show in 2015, and there were videos coming out well before that. I think in the late 2000s, where people were showing us this kid who had these mad skills, and he was just a small little thing, and he was doing all these crazy things on the ice, even as a youth hockey player. He was, and I'm sure social media plays a part in this, but he was almost being scouted so early because of the ability to show off his skills. I don't think he
was, and he ended up being a 4th-round pick, and that's what's so crazy is. John Butchergross told this story when he was, I forget what he was being interviewed on a couple weeks ago, but he was covering the Frozen Four that year in Tampa Bay, and Kevin Hayes was on that BC team. Mm-hmm. And Butchergross walked into the locker room, and he turned to Kevin Hayes, and he was like, "Can this play in the NHL?" And Kevin Hayes was like, "Oh, wait until he gets out there."
No, it's true. Now, he's not the only small guy to ever make it to the NHL. Andrew Ebbett was a guy who played here in Binghamton. I saw him in the AHL a lot. He also got some time. But nobody has captivated, I think, with his size and his ability like Johnny Hockey did. To me, I would just wanted to talk about it for a few minutes because I know you're very up on, Johnny Hockey. I appreciate you talking to us about him a little bit.
And I want to, if I can, I just want to say something real quick about Matthew because I don't want we all talk about Johnny Hockey and the superstar that he was, and all that he's done for Calgary and for Columbus, and his love for purple Gatorade, which I love that story too. But Matthew was about to enter his first season as the head coach at their high school down there in New Jersey, or up there in New Jersey. Was about to enter his first season as the head coach and had retired from a stint in the ECHL to be a youth coach, and had gone and coached a couple of the youth teams at that local rink there in their hometown in South Jersey, and was about to enter his first season as head coach at Gloucester Catholic. And I think that's what that's the one part for me that I think is getting a little bit lost, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
Is there are a ton of kids not far from where you're at in South Jersey.
Yeah.
That both Johnny and Matthew are heroes because they are the kids from South Jersey that made it, and they never forgot where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny always came back. Whenever he could. He came back to help out. He came back to do sessions. Matthew was about to cultivate the next generation of greats to come out of that high school.
Yeah.
And it's just so tragic, the hockey aspect of it. I'll tell you this. I don't want to sound, aggressive or anything, but all of us in the hockey community, if we ever saw that individual in person, I'm not sure what we would do. To tell you the truth.
I know what you're talking about, and it is a very difficult thing. I just think people have to remember when you're driving a car, you are driving something that could kill somebody. You could kill yourself,
and that's lost on a lot of people a lot of the time.
It is,
of course, and I have to be extra careful going, from Winston-Salem to Withville, 4 or 5 days a week, and it's something that you always have to have in the back of your mind that you're not just worried about you, you're worried about yourself and everyone around you.
And you have to be patient. You just have to be patient and realize that if you're a little late, you should have left a little earlier. Otherwise, everything else, you have to really be careful and everything because something like this can happen. And it doesn't have to be superstar hockey player or his brother. It could be anybody. It could be somebody's brother or somebody's son or somebody's, daughter or whatever. The simple fact of the matter is, his wife is now pregnant with, their third child. And that came out during the the services, and that's the sad part about this.
It came out that Matthew's wife was pregnant with their first child.
Yeah, so it's a very tough situation. All right, let's end this on a positive note. Opening night for you guys is the 18th and 19th, but you guys have games coming up on the 11th and the 12th too, as well. Correct?
That is correct. We will have exhibition games against Mississippi. On the 11th and 12th of October, right before my 27th birthday. Shameless plug. And then the 18th and 19th, I am happy to announce that on the 19th, every one of those new 3,600 seats will be covered by a rally towel.
Oh, sweet.
So we're planning on, we're calling that Pack the House night. So our friends at Hitachi Energy have been kind enough to print 3,600 rally towels and help us drape them over every seat. So we, the Roar County initiative that we're pushing, that's kind of the night where you're going to read the words, but then you're going to hear it and you're going to feel it.
No, that's pretty cool. So Mississippi on the 11th and the 12th. 12th is actually my birthday, but I don't need to tell anyone my age. It's really old. 52. So I'm on the 12th. Which day are you in October?
I am on the 14th.
Oh, the 14th. Well, happy Libra. You're right in the middle of Libra like I am, which is pretty good. It's probably why we're so good at broadcasting. However, and then the 18th and 19th, you guys have Athens coming into town. Everybody will be interested to see what kind of team Steve Martinson is bringing in to you guys there on opening night. I think Athens, am I wrong here? Athens doesn't play at home until like mid-November or late November?
Actually, I believe the first two games, the 11th and 12th, those might be a home for them if I'm not mistaken. But
okay.
I mean, that's going to be the interesting part, for me from an observance standpoint, and as far as, my prep is concerned is, we're going to play two exhibition games. They're going to play two games that count.
Right.
So I can't remember if they're at Monroe or if they host Monroe.
No, I think I don't think they're hosting games until mid-November. The arena's not going to be ready.
Okay. That does.
So they're going to be in Monroe. So they'll be in Monroe.
Yeah. And, that'll be a kind of a good barometer for both those teams. You look at what Monroe's building. They've got, a lot of that, Swedish flair there against Steve Martinson's classic heavy style. And, the style of play, like we were talking about with Zemi, it's going to be a fun series to watch because it's going to come to a head, and it's going to be physical. It's going to be a little bit nasty, but that's the kind of game that not often do you hear an Eastern European coach say he wants to go out there and play a 1-0 game and have 45 hits, but that's the kind of game we want to play.
Brett, one of the things that I've noticed about Blue Ridge that other teams in the Fed didn't do is you didn't see a lot from them on social media, but you and Kendra did a lot on social media this summer, keeping the fans engaged or earning or gaining new fans because of the social media presence. I got to imagine it's not just Kendra and you, but there's other people behind the scenes as well doing a lot of hard work getting ready for the upcoming season.
There is. And, that was something that Jimmy and I made a kind of agreed on and made a point to do all summer. And, I kind of got Kendra and Trevor and Jenna Lewis, who's our ticket coordinator. We all kind of made a concerted effort to keep the fans engaged with a lot of different content and make sure that, that people knew that the job doesn't stop on April 13th or whenever the season ends.
Right.
The job doesn't stop, period. And we wanted to make it clear that we were doing everything in our power to work as hard as we could to keep fans engaged, keep fans interested, and find new, interesting, and creative ways to add to our fan base. And I think everything we've been able to do up until this point, I don't think any other team in the league can say that for themselves, that they've been able to manually, hands-on, get people interested and get people on board just from all of our collective love of the game and love of the area.
Yeah. You also, I think, announced this week a partnership with a radio station. Will the games be on YouTube and the radio station 96.5 as well?
That is correct. 96.5 WCGX, the Cat, which is the perfect name for our radio partner for all our away games.
Without a doubt.
For about 27 away games there. On WCGX, and they'll also, of course, be on Bobcats TV, so you can still follow us while we're on the road.
Very cool, very cool. Brett, thank you very much. One of the things that you said to me the first time we talked was that you were glad to be there because you guys were going to help build this hockey market and turn this into from a rodeo barn, cattle barn, so to speak, to a real hockey market there in Wytheville. And I think you guys have really kind of made good on that promise between the county investing into that barn and getting those seats in there and just making everything just look nice. I mean, it just looks good, right? To the fact that, Zemi is building a team that is going to have a chance to win, and the broadcast is going to get so much better. You guys have really, lived up to that promise of what you and I talked about, which was really kind of building this up, and Season 2 was going to be much better than Season 1. Yeah,
and you summed it up perfectly right there. Just the steps that we've taken from then to now it's just been exponential growth, but that being said, we're not content just to stay where we're at. We're going to keep striving for, and as a Packers fan, I feel obligated to use this quote. I'm going to use the Vince Lombardi quote. We're going to relentlessly chase perfection, knowing full well that we cannot attain it. In the process, we'll catch excellence.
I like it. That's a great quote. Very good quote. You know your sports. I will be honest with you, between hockey and football and NASCAR, you definitely know your sports. Brett, as always, thank you very much for coming on. I hope we get to talk before I get down there in March. Hopefully we can have you back on the show again to talk about the Bobcats again.
I'd be happy to, Bobby. Always great to speak with you.
Perfect. And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Two great interviews right there with Andrew Uturo and Brett Wiseman of the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Of course, Andrew was with the Binghamton Black Bears, and we want to thank him for coming back on. We'll probably have him on in the season, as well as Brett Wiseman as well. So, very happy for having both of those guys on the show. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show, whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Power Play Post Show, and share with any of your friends. Please check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. Don't forget, single game tickets are available for the Black Bears. And we were just talking with Brett Wiseman. He said that next week, the Bobcats season, our single game tickets will be on sale sometime next week. Please look at the Bobcats website for more information and all their social media on that. Thank you to Rob Lapoulis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, as well as Andrew Uturo and Brett Wiseman from the Blue Ridge Bobcats. I am Bob Howard. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.